AI chats made me worse as a creative, and I don't think it's just me. The smartest software we ever built, and we use it through the most primitive interface possible, Chatbox. And everything we added around it, buttons, tools, features, sits on top of something that's broken at its core. This might sound like another video complaining that AI is overrated. It's not. I want to talk about something else. There is a way out, and it's a design problem. But first, how did we even get here? How did every AI tool we work in become a chatbox? This video is sponsored by Miro, but I don't want to start with Miro. I want to start with a problem that bugs me almost every day. Here how I used to work on hard ideas. I took paper, I drew diagrams, lines, I added sticky notes, tore off what didn't fit, marked the structure with highlighters. These are my real boards. This is how I think. And this is how I worked with partners too, sitting next to each other or together on a digital canvas. Today, the most common thing I hear about AI is it's a partner to think with, a smart wall. And that's exactly how it entered our lives. We started thinking inside AI chats. At some point, I started moving my boards into chats to turn them into final documents, specs, instructions for my team, assignments for my students. And it worked. Everything turned into a clean text documents. But the moment I try to actually think together with AI, and that part is genuinely useful, my two-dimensional structure collapsed into one. You work in a line, you get results in a line. I stopped building ideas out in space. It just wasn't needed anymore because of chat. My main tool, Miro included, faded into the background. And that's what made me worse. My thinking got deeper, sure, but it got narrower. And I'm convinced we are not supposed to think in a line. It's what I teach my students. It's how I built my design studio. It's how I run big complex products. Chats got much better over these 4 years. I used to copy results into my documents by hand. Now I just ask AI to do it. It's a joke. But the process itself hasn't changed at all. And that's the real problem. There is a threat hanging over all of us. AI average us out. I want the opposite. I want AI to amplify me. So how did we get here? Why did everything collapse into a single chat? Not because chat is dumb, the opposite. Chat is language, and language is the best interface we have. It's how we think, it's how we talk. And really, a chat is just a command line, the oldest interface of all. Type a command, get an answer. The first monitors and keyboards were built for exactly this. It's ancient, and we still use it. Why? Because for AI, the empty box is the advantage. There is nothing there, none of the UI we spent years building. UI guides you. This button does this menus does that. Clear path, which means boundaries. Put an LLM inside those boundaries and you cut off most of what it can do. So chat is a good exactly because it's primitive. But nothing bad doesn't mean good. Chat is just better than traditional UI. A real interface for working with AI never showed up. Not yet. Let's go back to my boards. Look at this board. Everything here is in 2 dimensions. Clusters, arrows, color. When you think like this, the whole process stays visible. What you moved, what you crossed out, what you tore off. And these imperfections matter. They change how you read the board later. But of course, I want to talk it through with AI. Fact check something, dig deeper somewhere. And how can I do that? Only by flattering it into a line. I can send a screenshot or pull the text out of the image. It doesn't really matter how. What matters is the shape of the exchange. I give text, I get text back. And nothing comes back to my board. There is no easy way to return to my thinking space, to the canvas. It is a destructive conversion. The canvas becomes a line, and you can go back. This is when I started to notice I think in space less and less, just because I spend so much time inside AI chats. Some ideas I used to reach on a board, I just don't reach them anymore. Have you felt this too? The more you work with AI chats, the more creativity you lose. Tell me in the comments, I'm genuinely curious. Instead of working through a middleman, one that doesn't even work in the same space as me, I can work with AI right on the canvas. Now the AI works directly on my board, right next to my sticky notes. At any moment I can grab any piece and rework it by hand. Nothing gets flattened into a line. I simply never leave the canvas. I saw this in person at Miro Canvas 26 event in London. I actually tried to build something like this myself once, an interface for a new browser, but the project shut down and I never finished the idea. So when I saw Miro using a similar design pattern, I was really excited. Let me show you how it works. I'll take one of my handmade boards, the kind I drew on paper, and right on the canvas I'll try to organize it and build it out, without sending anything to a chat. First I move it all onto the canvas, sticky notes, arrows, clusters just like it was on paper. Then I use sidekicks to find weak spots, where there's not enough detail, where something's missing, and we got through them together. Next, I ask the sidekick to find examples and drop them right here on the board. I mark which ones I have seen and which ones are next. And I still get AI's strongest side, text. This board needed to become documentation, a work log, job description. That part repeats every time, so I don't do it by hand. I set it up once as a flow and it runs the whole chain, and none of it's aligned in the chat. Each piece is an object that lives right here on the board, next to everything else. Really, this feels like two people working together. Between people, we figured this out long ago. There are tons of tools where we work together in real time, but a format for a human and AI agent barely exists yet. It's only starting to take shape, and that makes sense. An agent can do things we can't, and we can do things it can't. So I still want the strong side of AI, text. Just not as a line in chat, as a part of one shared board. Everything is editable. We both work on the same canvas. And there is no hard border between us, unless you draw one yourself. I'm genuinely excited about this interface. But it has limits, I want to be clear about them too. It's not a universal interface for everything. Plenty of tasks live better on other tools, and that's okay. But there is one thing where the canvas beat chat for me. Thinking, laying things out, connecting things, seeing the whole picture. Going deeper together with AI. For me and for a lot of you who work with the high uncertainty, finding new ideas is the core of the job, reaching combination that didn't exist before, at least not on the surface. So for me, this is a big deal. And the chat isn't going anywhere. Text input is over 50 years old and it'll stay with us. Its role will just shrink. But here's my personal take. The longer we thread chat as the main interface, the more we get stuck with it. And the more it shapes every AI interface that comes next. That's why I think it matters to test new formats like this one. For me, AI chat is a trade-off. I gained a ton, but also lost something important. And this is what I've been getting at the whole time. The threat is that AI average us out. My goal has always been the opposite, to amplify myself, to use AI to push my ideas out into the world stronger than I could alone, without letting that average world get inside and change how I see things. And this interface reconnected two things for me: the creativity I had before AI, and the depth and speed I got once I went all in on it. It's one of the few tools where work actually feels new and where I feel better than in a chat. It gave me back a piece of the creativity I'd lost. And it makes me a little more future-proof against the exact threats AI brings. And yes, this is a sponsored video, but I wasn't paid to say specific words. They flew me out to London, took me to the event, and what Miro wanted was my analysis and my honest opinion, not just a plug to my audience. And I'm glad I did it. It was genuinely interesting, and I'm always happy to work with the great teams on something I actually think matters. So if you also think and structure a lot, try pulling that work out of a chat onto the canvas. Sidekicks and Flows in Miro, link in the description. Tell me in the comments what worked and what fell apart. And subscribe. Let's see where this goes together.